Hey, if you're new here, I'm Shaz, and this is my series,
Fakeries Trickeries.
This episode is about heating and irradiating, two common practices in the crystal and most especially the gemstone and jewelry industry that you should know about if you want to be an informed buyer. The most common example I can give you guys, you might have heard about this one already, is heated citrine. This is quartz that has iron impurities that has been baked at a very specific, very high temperature in order to mimic the process that happens under the earth to create natural citrine. This is what natural citrine looks like. It has a range of hues from very pale, barely there, to a very dark smoky yellow. So this vivid bright color, this is not natural citrine. It does not happen under the earth in natural processes. Another common example is seen with tiger's eye. Brown tiger's eye is often heated to make bright red tiger's eye, also known as ox's eye. Now you do get natural red tiger's eye, but it's pretty rare. Beryl family is quite often heated, so you have heliodor being heated to make aquamarine, or a brown beryl can be made into a nice pink color. A ruby can be heated to make a very vivid dark red. Sapphire becomes a much darker vivid blue. Tanzanite, they estimate around 90% of gem tanzanite is actually heated that you see on the market. And then topaz can become a bright pink or orange depending on the level of impurities. Taking a look now at irradiation, this is where above ground a crystal or mineral is exposed to radiation, like from an X-ray machine, and it is to actually mimic the natural process that happens underground where crystals or minerals come into contact with naturally radioactive material that's decaying. So you have smoky quartz. This affects collectors occasionally. It's done to specimens that are sold as natural. Smoky quartz can become very, very dark, but it always has a translucency to it. It's generally not a complete uniform color all the way through. So those are things to look out for. A lot of gemstones get irradiated, so with topaz, you're going to find that with your bright blues. Diamonds, all your fancy colors are generally irradiated to get that color. Tourmaline, especially red, bright red, vivid tourmaline has been irradiated. And there was some bright blue saturated fluorite that came out of China that was also achieved through irradiation. The takeaway here is simply to look out for very bright, vivid, saturated colors in your gemstones and occasionally with crystals. And when you see that it's probably been heated or irradiated, you can do a check online to see if it's a commonly done practice with the stone that you're looking at. With heating, it's generally a stable process, so it's not going to reverse. Unfortunately, with irradiation, this is an unstable process, and it very often does end up fading over time. This can be really disappointing if you've spent a lot of money on a particular gemstone. If you enjoyed this information, my book, Crystals Demystified, will be out next year. Thanks for watching.